1, NS Hosa, Axiom Acer, MVP, FX Open, LGIM, Azubu, Prime, StarTale.
Well, it's time to move on, and it is Life up against Maru. Life, considered by many to be the best player in the entire world. It's hard to dispute that these days.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. I mean, this kid is so good. He's a back-to-back MLG champion, and he currently is up against an opponent who is a little bit younger than he is, roughly 6 months apart.
Yep, very similar in age, though. They could be in the same grade. They're in the same high school.
This is going to be a good one. Red City is going to be a map. We have another Zerg versus Terran, exactly the matchup that Life had to succeed in when he was playing against Flash in the finals of the MLG. The last MLG, the first MLG in Heart of the Swarm.
Yep, this is going to be really, really exciting. Maru is going to have his hands tied dealing with all of the aggression that Life may put on him. Life showed in MLG several different aggressive baneling timings that he used, similarly to what we were talking about a little bit earlier with Golden in this matchup.
I cannot wait to get this game started, Wolf. This is going to be a crazy match. Life, all eyes on him right now. Everyone is going to watch this kid, and of course he doesn't have a sorrow in the world. This guy's just looking at him, he's like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, he's got that smile on his face, whereas Maru looks a little bit more focused and intense right now. His collar looks a little bit weird though.
Well, we're heading into the game right now, guys. This is going to be good. Life up against Maru at the GSTL Season 1 2013. StarTale is up against the Prime team. Games are brought to you by Carl and Wolf. Starting to the top left, we have the Prime player, the Terran, 15 years old. He is
Maru Prime.
Maru, strong against Avenge, was able to take the game, and he is up to the bottom right of the map. The love child of Jim Rayner and Sarah Kerrigan. He is the Swarm. He is
StarTale Life.
He is going to give us an exciting match no matter who takes it.
This kid is so good. 6 months older than Maru. He's 16 years old. Back-to-back MLG champion. And one of 3 players that was able to win major tournaments in NA, the EU, and Korea. The only one besides MMA and MVP to achieve it. He won Iron Squid in Europe, he won MLG in North America, and of course Code S in Korea.
Yep, he's all over the place, man. When he won GSL back-to-back with MLG, that was the sign for me that I think he's the best player in the world. Because at that time, the format of MLG was so different than it is now, and it was so intense to go through an open bracket and then go through the championship bracket. So he played that style of tournament, which is all about not preparing but being able to play on the fly. And then before that, he had won Code S, which is all about preparation and strategies and planning. So It's like insane he could do both.
Those different skill sets that you need for those different types of tournaments, and he has them both, and he showcased it several times. Then you have it in a tournament like in Iron Squid, where he was so far behind against DRG and ZVZ, and suddenly he was down like 3 games already, and everyone was like, yeah, well, this is over. You might take a map or 2, but in the end, the winner is going to be DRG. And the organizers of Iron Squid were already looking at the scoreboard and were like, oh my god, it couldn't be worse. Like, the ZVZ final, and then one player dominates the other like this. And suddenly Life is like, well, you know what? I actually want to win this tournament.
Yeah. And he put on the aggression, and even in the final game...
Oh my god, don't remind me.
He had all of the build order disadvantages against him.
Antigua Shipyard?
Still.
Oh my god, that was such a great game, Wolf.
Oh man, go and watch those VODs if you haven't. Highly recommend it.
Well, in the game that we see right now, we have already gas being taken for Life at the bottom right here. He is going into an early speed. He has his expansion now up. or at least the hatch is building. To the top left, of course, our Prime player is heading now into his own command center. He also has taken gas. Probably you are going to see a Reaper from him. You want to know what's going on in your opponent's base early on, so I would be surprised to not see at least one Reaper from Maru.
Yeah, I agree. Probably see it one. Probably not two, but he could go for a second one. And in fact, he starts a Marine, so we may see him go for just really fast Hellion aggression, which is more common in this matchup.
Well, the one difference that we have here, when you usually go for your Reaper first, you don't start with the CC first on the low ground.
Yeah.
So Maru takes quite a risk here, and he doesn't want to overdo it. Of course, he would love to get the scouting information, but he wants to be a little bit more safe too. So in this situation, the Marine is a good choice. Could have started with a Reaper here, but it's taking things a little bit too far. For Life, on the other hand, everything works out quite fine. Usually when you start with your hatch first, your pool is done at the same time that the natural hatch is finishing up, so you can start the double queen, and you also have the gas a few seconds after the pool is done so that you can go straight into speed, which is exactly what Life is doing here.
Yep. And he spots the command center here. He also sees the timing of it. This is the first glimpse he gets. Meanwhile, Maru is also trying to scout on the other side of the map. And part of the reason why as well you don't see the Reaper, just to go back to this topic a little bit, is because since it comes out a little bit later, yes, you can still scout with it. There's no way the Queens are going to be able to stop you, but you can't really do anything harassment-wise with them because the Queens are already going to be out at that point. So just another further reason why he wants to get his factory out a little bit faster instead.
Life is a player that is really known to go into early game aggression, and that he has some timings that a lot of Terran players, when he came into the scene, were not prepared for. This is one of the things that he's doing right now. He's getting roughly 8 to 10 Zerglings out while taking his third base. His speed is already done, so he can put up a bit of aggression. And if you're up against an opponent who plays too greedy, you can dart in, take down a Hellion or two, maybe even get a few SCVs, and this is exactly what he's attempting to do here. His splits are legendary, and here he's already trying to take down the first Hellion.
He gets one. Excellently done. Maru loses a Hellion and also has to turn around, meaning that his pressure is kind of stagnating here for a little bit. This allows Life to continue to press his creep spread out very, very easily.
Think about what you want to do when you go into Hellions first. You usually have a transitioner from Reaper or just going straight into Hellions, and you want to achieve map control, forcing creep back, making sure that the Zerg player cannot actively spread creep towards forward. But now suddenly those Zerglings are a huge problem for Maru. He is completely trapped in his bases, and Life takes the third base. When it's going to be dangerous, that's the time when we are going to see the first Medivacs out in the game, when Life has to be careful how to deal with the drops.
Exactly, and without Mutalisk, that's going to be very difficult. When the Mutalisk come out, things will change.
Yeah, he's going into double upgrades, and he's researching upgrades for his Lings, so we'll most likely see Mutalisk. We could also see a fast tech into Ultralisk, as Lucky did, but we even have a Roach War now being built. Just be very careful here.
Now, notice what Life did with his Lings there. He waited until the army moved out, and the second it did, he went for a run-by. This is what he's known for. He's doing it again. The Roach Warren is cancelled. And the Hellion drop ensues. He does not have his lair. It's just starting now, so he's not going to be able to deal with this easily until the Mutas are out.
I love how he did that. He built the Roach Run because he wasn't quite sure what was going on in his opponent's base. And now he cancelled because he realized, well, I don't need it. You don't go for a massive amount of Hellions or anything like it. I'm completely fine having my Zerglings here. And with the drop that he spotted, he has the Queens in position. He's like, well, just drop. Fine, I have Zerglings just waiting for you to do it.
Yep, just waiting. And all the Lings finally cleaned up, even the Viking landing there for a moment. But I lost my train of thought there watching that Viking. The Viking just tricked me, man.
Yeah, don't worry about the Viking. We are still in the scenario where Life is getting a lot of Zerglings out in the mid-game. This gives him the option to put on the additional aggression. He has these upgrades lining up. He will be able to deal with the Hellions. So far, Maru is really trying to find an opening, but Life doesn't give him one.
Exactly, and Life has this massive upgrade advantage. As the E-base finish, the 1-1 comes out, and this is something that Maru has done that's very safe, where he gets a lot more units out, getting a siege tank out even just in case, because a lot of players have died to Life's Baneling Roach aggression, just Baneling aggression from him, and he wants to be safer here, but as a result, he's behind in upgrades now.
Yeah. In this scenario, we had actually Maru cutting a few corners in this game. He was going for the CC first on the low ground. He delayed his bunker quite a bit, but now he have him with the third base taken a little bit later than Life's, of course. He's still trying to achieve something here. Couldn't do a lot of damage to the economy of his opponent. So for him, this is a difficult position, but as long as he can secure himself with this third, it's fine. The problem are really that all the Hellions are dying, except for the two that have been picked up by the Medivac.
But it's still so many lost, and those Hellions alone are not going to be able to defend these SCVs.
Siege tank BenQ now firing shots, targeting the Marines as well by accident. Friendly fire. He had to lift his third base. Life is dominating the game already.
Life is just totally controlling this, and his crease spread is also getting out of control. Look at that on the minimap. He's got totally his base is connecting. He's already pushing towards that watchtower in the middle.
For Maru, this is really difficult now. He's behind in upgrades, life starter +2/+2, and he's trying to get this third base, but he sees with the Viking already that we have now a fourth coming up. And I love the Viking for Maru. It's a great choice, especially when you want to rely on drop play later on. You have to have this Viking out, make sure that there are no overlords that spot your drop play early. So really good choice.
And it also lets you know exactly when the Mutas are coming out, because that's the first thing that is that gets done by the Zerg player. He's losing some more SCVs here.
He needs to know when those Mutalisks come, and as you said, he's losing SCVs, and he's losing a lot more since the Hellions are now taken out by the Zerglings too. The Widow Mines here burrowing in the last second, but another Mutalisk being taken out, and even more SCVs are dying.
2 more dead there. He's on hold position, waiting for more SCVs to spawn so he can kill them. The Widow Mines is coming a little bit too late.
The Widow Mines a bit too late to the party. 10 SCVs already down, and now we have, while the Mutalisks are being built, attack right into the infestation pit, going into lair, into a hive.
Yeah, the Viking has 7 kills, Counter. Of course, some of those probably are Zerglings, maybe 2 of them, but he's killed a lot of Overlords, and he's still hunting. He's still around there. And 1 Muta was made and then cancelled. Oh, no, looks like it just finished.
Yep. 6 Mutalisks in total, there we go. +1 attack upgrade being researched, going into speed. All these upgrades now lining up. Maru not skipping a beat with his own upgrades, heading into +2/+2.
And look at that, perfect interception here.
Misses
He
it.
wasn't paying attention. It's too late now. He's going to be able to unload the Marines and actually can kill the Mutas, depending on how this happens now. There's too many Mutas, though.
Yeah, it speeds away. The Mutalisks are all there trying to chase down the Medivac. And this is, of course, Life has to be a little bit careful here. Maru is doing this really well, targeting down those Mutalisks, taking down 1. But the Lings, they will put an end to this. Now the Medivac has to be used once again, and the Mutalisks, they return to take it out.
Exactly. He trades as best he can. Maru to make it a bad situation, turn it into a decent one. In the Tunneling Claws, or the Chip Clip upgrade, I don't remember what that upgrade is called for the Widow Mines, but it's on the way, so it's going to be able to burrow those really fast.
Yep. So right now, +2/+2 done already for Life. And the name that we were looking for is, by the way, Drilling Claws.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. But yeah, the Tunneling Claws, that would actually be an upgrade that Maru would probably love here. That would be really nice if those Widow Mines could move while they're burrowed. He would love that.
Yeah, just like the Baneling movement upgrade that was removed from Heart of the Swarm.
Oh god, I love the idea, but from the beginning that was kind of obvious that it was too much. Look how well he actually does this. Using single links to target those Widow Mines and put them into cooldown. Sending another one over there because he doesn't know if there's another Widow Mine being burrowed. That's really smart by Life. He does this really well. His control is just excellent.
Yeah, I mean, with these Lings, he's focusing on so much here, just making sure that he knows exactly what's going on at all times. And that Widow Mine, a little bit scary, he runs away from it. And that's where those claws come into really, really good use. When you have the Widow Mines can burrow this quickly, it's like a siege tank that's better than a siege tank.
I'm a little bit surprised that Life doesn't start +3/+3, and as I say it, he starts the 3rd attack upgrade. His Hive is done, and here comes the armor upgrade, so he will stay ahead in upgrades. He's trying to move in here. He has to be careful, though. The upgrades for Maru are lining up quite well. The Zerglings seeing the new base immediately it is putting down to the ground.
Yep. That base is going to have to be cancelled most likely here. He does have, inside that drop, 2 Marauders.
This is the time where things are sometimes getting a little bit difficult for the Zerg play because of the drop play. The Mutalisks are helping out quite a bit, though. He doesn't even cancel the hatch. The hatch goes down, and now we have Life suddenly engaging, trying to commit to this attack, moving in against the Widow Mines. Here comes the Overseer.
That's really important. He's able to clean all those Widow Mines up. The hatchery, yes, it is cancelled, but he clears up a lot of the Widow Mines. In fact, there's 7 left, but every time you kill a Widow Mine, it's a great feeling, because if you just detonate it, yeah, that's fine, but it's going to be back to bite you later. This Command Center actually looks like it's going to go down, so a base for a base here.
And he has those units ready to defend against the drop play. Of course, the Medivac speed boost is used once again, but there is a Spore Caller and a Spine here at the main engagement. We have Life retreating, but he is just executing this so well. He needs to send those Zerglings over, though.
Yeah, there they come. Spine Crawler is the only thing he's going to lose. The Command Center, however, on the left side of the map was killed.
Oh, wow. Did you see that on the production tab?
Yeah.
One single Swarm host being built now.
Yeah, that one Swarm Host, we're going to keep a good eye on it and see how many Locusts it spawns.
We talked about it a little bit. This is something that you can use if you are afraid of your opponent using the Widow Mines. If you just send in the Locusts to trigger them, it's something that you can use in the mid-game. Might also just have been a misclick. He's going into the Greater Spire, and a lot of Zerg players have been resorting to Broodlords in the late game, trying to trigger those Widow Mines. So maybe just a misclick here. We'll find out pretty soon. For now, he's relying on the Infestors and the Fungals.
Yep, decent fungal hits here. He wants to bait out those shots, and in fact, the AoE damage works against the Marauders there with the Infested Terrans so close. And he wants to go for a surround here. There's too many mutas.
Moving in once again. Most of the Widow Mines are already in cooldown, and here comes live Maru retreating, but he is a strong force here.
Yeah, 3-3 is getting closer and closer down the path. You can see both players currently on 2-2. You can also see those upgrades highlighted at the bottom of the screen with our new UI.
Yeah. Of course, we have a supply lead here for life at this point. He's also ahead in bases. Those drops really giving him a few problems, but the way that he dealt with them so far is really impressive. Not taking too much damage by them.
Yeah, not too much at all. He really handling them like a champ. This base may have to be cancelled again as the Zerg army is very far away at this point. Same drop composition with the Marauders.
Maru on the other hand, he's stabilized. He has to be careful in the middle of the map right now, but compared to the early game, he is now looking a lot stronger than he did before. Here come those Infestors again. Don't get the fungal though.
Yeah, the Widow Mines are out of position. They're way too far away. He's avoided the minefield, and this is a big problem for Maru. He needs those Widow Mines. He's relying on them. It's basically an army without siege tanks. That one Viking just will not be killed.
The Widow Mines are still in the game, but this base is being attacked once more, and he has to be careful here.
And here comes the Korean audio as well. Life is shouting at us here with this.
Exactly, not only the Zerg players running in, but the Korean audio is also jumping into the stream. They are excited as well. Here comes Ultimus taking those Widow Mine shots.
And the Widow Mines here just not really able to activate at the right moment.
Well, we can definitely be louder than them if production is not shutting them out. That's completely fine. I hope you guys can hear that, because that would be a little bit confusing. Yeah, having two audio tracks on the stream.
Especially if you're bilingual. Don't get me started on that.
Yeah.
So, okay, looks like we're fine now. Widow Mine's closing the gap here on the right side of the screen. He's got a lot of creep to eat through, though.
You know, Maru is getting a lot more aggressive here. He's dropping everywhere, and for life it's a bit difficult to deal with this. He's trying to establish more Spine and Spore Crawlers, and he really needs them against all these drops. He's taking another base to the right side, even at the top right, adding another one. He wants to claim the entire map at this point.
Yeah. And the creep has retreated quite significantly after that last little barrage of Maru attacks. When it comes to economy, the bank is obviously much better for life. He goes for another engagement here, wants to trade against this. The Ultras are out, and there's a few Widow Mines. He wants to bait out the shots first.
Yeah, he really has a problem against the Widow Mines at this point. He might just get a few Broodlords to deal with those, activate them first before moving in. Right now, he doesn't really do it. He's being chased down by the Bio Army. One or two Ultalists might just be picked off here.
Yep, and that Command Center certainly is going to be picked off by the Mutas if he's not coming over to save it.
What he's trying to do is really starve Maru, make sure that the Terran player doesn't take a fourth base. He's once again engaging into a battle with the Terran army. The Bio Force are stimped once more.
There's way too many Ultras here. He's starting to target them down. The Mutas, though, closing the gap. He wants to eliminate those medevacs. There's not any more Marines left, so he's got only Mirage. Now the Marines stimming in.
The supply gap is completely negated here by Maru, and also in resources, we're currently looking at a Zerg player that is on par with his opponent, so this is getting really scary for life. Maru is completely coming back into this game after taking those punches early on.
Yeah, I'm actually, it's a great story of what we're watching here. He's really just been able to be the comeback kid in this game. He lost Command Center after Command Center. He lost so many of his SCVs. He was struggling to take a third. And now with the composition he's made, Life is really struggling.
Yeah. Life is now transitioning more and more into Infestors instead of Mutalisks. So he has to deal with those drops in a different way. And he's trying to choose Spine Crawlers and also always has a few units ready just to make sure that he has something in place to deal with the drops. But Run-By is maybe the answer. The Widow Mine taking a lot of Zerglings down.
Yep, and the Marines have to actually exit the bunker temporarily here. It does not have enough coverage to kill all the Lings. He's certainly losing a lot of Harvesters here. 2 Marines are not enough. He'd actually have killed the Marines if he wanted to, but I guess he was looking elsewhere, defending against some of the drop play that Maru has been putting off here. Life has stabilized pretty well here, sticking with the Just +1 upgrade for his Mutas, and it begs the question now, though, does he need to add some Swarm Hosts into his composition or some Infestors to be able to deal with those Widow Mines? Yeah, he has the Infestors in his army already, but he's not able to use them very well against the Widow Mines. It's really easier said than done to drop those Infested Terrans and bait out the shots.
Yeah, Life really has at this point, of course, the lead in income. We have Maru with a 4th base to the left side of the map. but he needs to make sure that this is a safe base, and that's not the case right now. Zerglings are already headed this way, and they will take down not only the SUVs, but also all of the mules.
Yep, mules dropping dead before the Zerglings arrive, as it turns out, just kind of ironically there, but the Command Center has to lift.
And the Prime player, he has worked up quite the bank in minerals, but he's lacking gas. He's starving. He only has 200.
Yeah, and mules aren't going to help him with that. He needs to get another base. He needs to resecure his base, but he's taken out bases of life left and right with his drop play. The base of the top right, though, still persists.
The Mutalisk actually came in to finish off this drop. You couldn't see that on stream in case that you missed it. That was really well done. But now the base is gone, and we still have Widow Mines everywhere in this game.
Now look at that army supply for Maru since he lost so many of his SUVs. It's 157 army supply. A great fungal! Oh my god!
That's the money fungal right there, and he gets the second one!
And he's trying to catch some of these units. He gets a few of the medevacs. He might actually try to end this fight here.
He is definitely pushing Maru back. Maru just lost a huge chunk of his army. He's down to 140 supply. This is awesome for Life. Life is in pursuit. Tries to retreat for now and stabilize again, but this was a huge win for the StarTale player.
Yeah, Life remaxes, depleting all of his mineral bank, but he still has that gas, so he can make a lot of Ultralisks, and he's continuing to do so. Once he remaxes, he can try to take out another one of Maru's bases.
Maru at this point, he is really starving for money. He's trying to establish this fourth. He's trying to just defend it somehow, but there is so much that Life can always throw against the fourth. He is doing such a great job. The drop play of Maru is exceptional, but his biggest problem really is that Life is always there with a few units. He was only able to do a bit of damage in this game with those dropships.
Exactly, and now he's just desperately trying to use the most cost-efficient unit he knows right now to stabilize, and that is the Widow Mine. He's making more and more of them, but I just don't see if he can hold this base.
Well, he's trying, but he has to. Here come those Infestors, and as soon as we have the Fungals, it's going to be a very different ball game.
The Infestors, some of them very low on energy right now.
Oh, that's the Fungal!
There it is. It hits everything, not only those units, but the medevacs as well.
He gets it. There the Infestor Terrans, the Ultralist sign, taking down a lot of these units, and Maru is down to 136 supply.
And so much of it is in those medevacs. Not a lot of DPS underneath here.
This is too much support and not a lot of units that can actually dish out damage to those Ultralisks. As you already said, Wolf, here comes the Mule Hammer after the Zerg force is annihilated, but the problem is going to be the remax for Life.
Exactly, maxing out already. He's getting 16 more Lings now on the way along with his Ultras. He just has the problem, of course, with his Larva simply because he's lost so many of his hatcheries.
A 50 supply difference in worker supply. This, of course, puts Maru in a position where he has a lot of army supply. As mentioned, a lot of this is in the Medivacs, but this is also the case where now suddenly Life says, you know what, I am so fed up with your Medivacs. I hate them, and now I'm getting corrupted, so let's see how you deal with that.
Exactly. I mean, he has a Medivac Armada. He might as well cure cancer with that, with all the healing power he has there.
He can switch into Broodlords later on, but for now, the Corruptors can be used to take down a few of those Medivacs before he does it.
This is looking, you know, so weird with all these medevacs. I don't even know what the medevac count is, but I think he's got something like 15 of them in there.
17 medevacs.
17.
Oh, wow. Workers killed 66, 68 over the course of the game. Life is just a master when it comes down to harass.
I think, you know, after this, Maru is probably going to be asking himself why he did not make a bunker over there or at his third base either.
You know, if Life wasn't actually only 16 years old, I would say this is child abuse.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, luckily it's not, but you know, I'm worried for Maru because he doesn't have that gas income that he needs.
The Widow Mine actually with a friendly fire here. Yeah. This double drop could do a lot of damage. If he gets it into a good position, Life isn't ready for it. You know that we still have the one Swarm host in the game?
Yeah, I've been trying to keep an eye on that guy, but he hasn't accomplished much. I don't even know if he's burrowed right now. Well, this base is definitely dead, and no response by Life. That was kind of weird. He doesn't even move his units off the minimap, and just pulls his drones away, meanwhile trying to deal with this drop to the bottom left. Maru, his drops is what keeps him in this game, and also his large army supply because of the lack of harvesters.
The Infestors just moving back. Think about what would have happened in this game when those Infestors actually are taken out. That would be devastating for him. Where are those Corruptors, by the way?
Oh, they made him into Broodlords. He has Broodlords, yeah. He has Broodlords and Ultras together.
Well, the Broodlings are awesome to trigger those Widow Mines, but I would have thought that he would at least try to keep a few Corruptors to take out the Medivacs, or at least push them back.
Yeah, I suppose it's not on the cards for now, but he's making some more static defense, which is going to help him with that. There's one Corruptor left.
Can he get the Fungal on the Widow Mines? Nah, not quite.
Yep. For those curious, Widowmines can still burrow while fungal. But, of course, once you know where they are, if you chain fungal them, it doesn't matter. And they're also revealed while fungal.
There come the Broodlords into position. There are no Vikings whatsoever. The Widowmines. Is there fungal on this few bio units?
He doesn't even want to waste it. He's going to wait until he can get the meat of that army.
And what do you do if you're Maru right now? You see what's happening and you lift your command center, you try to back up. Taking out a few infestors is a huge win for him.
Yeah.
And he takes down 2. That was well done.
That was a bit overzealous by Life putting those infestors that far forward.
Yeah, he sees an opportunity and he takes it. I really love this. Maru was always a player who is very... He has the reflexes to do it. He judges the situation in an instant. The same is true for Life, though. And Life is now the one who, once again, just triggers the next attack with this beautiful funnel that we have over here.
Oh, excellently done. And Maru is now forced to, like Marine King, lift his buildings, float, and hope. You know, he's not... He just doesn't have any opportunity to do anything. His drops are being cleaned up. His production is being shut down. He has no mining. All of his command centers are in the air, literally.
He's in the corner of the ring and he is getting punched out in seconds. There is one punch after another, a barrage of attacks by Life. He is going for it. Maru actually flying all his buildings away. They're already being pursued by the few corruptors that we have in the game. And the Terran play is attempting to base race his opponent now.
Yeah, he's trying for it. He's got this army down here at the bottom that's killing a lot of the hatcheries. And you know what? I mean, if you consider a lot of the supply is in drones, the army supply is a lot closer than it looks. He only has 2 of those units are SCVs.
It's definitely true. The army supply is closer than it looks, as you can see here. 120 against 100. Life still 20 supply ahead, army supply that is, but the problem for Maru is that Life can always re-max with the bank that he has.
And he has the better composition with these fungals, but you know what? He gets a good flank here, and there's not enough anti-air for the Broodlords. That's the problem. He only has like 1 Marine in there.
You're completely right, Wolf, and he also can't deal with all those corruptors that are chasing down the Medivacs now.
Yeah, you're so right, and the Medivac Armada looks like it may finally fall. Maru sticks around. He's...
The Swarm Host with a final appearance in the game before Maru taps out. GG! Life has done it. He takes the team match to game number 5 with a 2-2 score.
Well done. Life was the player they needed, and we'll see who he takes out next in just a moment if he can continue the streak. Well, that was a really impressive play from Life. There were moments in that game where both players were looking like they were in a harsh situation. Giving out some Red Bull here. Yeah. Red Bull really getting into esports, right?
Oh yeah, they definitely do. I love it quite a lot, but what do you do when you're the Prime team? You know, Maru played well. I mean, we focused a little bit on Life and what he did because he's such an exceptional player and we haven't seen him since MLG. But still, if you look at this game that we just saw, Maru played really well. He had dropships everywhere, but from the beginning, it was Life who dominated the game. So when you're now sitting on the Prime bench, which player is actually the one who stands up and says like, okay, it's going to be me.
Yeah.
I can do it.
Who has the confidence to say, I can stand up and take on the best player in the entire world?
Bjorn? Do you think it's going to be Bjorn?
You know, I was thinking Bjorn for a bit, but after watching how good he is at this particular matchup, Life, I think it has to be Creator right now. Send a Protoss out, maybe have Creator use some of his air style that he's really, really practiced at and versed at in Protoss versus Zerg. That's who I'd call upon right now. Is he ready? He has some nerve issues sometimes. He's playing against Life. He did not get out of his Codes group either, so you know, I don't know what he's practicing for, what he's thinking right now, what's going through his mind, but if I just look at all the data that's in front of me, I think Creator might be the best choice in this given situation against Life.
Well, it's definitely going to be a very tough choice for the Prime team, that much is for sure. Maru being taken out here by the Zerg player that's only 6 months older than himself. And Life is considered to be the best player in the world right now, so who do you send out? The 2 names that come to mind, as mentioned already, as a Terran player, we would have Bjorn on the bench. Then we have, with Creator, a very strong Protoss opponent. What is Gerard going to do? I want to find out. I want to know right now. I want to know what our next match is.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out very soon. You can see the players behind us, in fact, right now. A little bit further behind us than they were at the old studio, but like I couldn't ask them a question.
Keep in mind that those 2 teams are also tied for 2nd place in the ranking, so whoever takes this team match today will be, I think, even in the first spot. I'm not quite sure about the standings of X and Acer. Depends on the indicator, of course. But yeah, it's... Basically, StarTale is looking like the favorite here, with Life now being the 3rd player, but we still have so many strong Terrans on the roster.
Going back to that, the team standings, I think both teams are actually at a +4 right now. So whichever one wins, even if they only win by 1, will be better than the +4 of Axiomacer and will get first place. If I'm correct in that they're both at +4 right now.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty sure that you are. So right now, it's a very difficult choice for the Prime team to make. The next player has to take down Life. And if he fails, then it's down to the last man standing. So 2 players are left for the Prime team. This is the best of 7 in case that you tuned in to the GSTL for the first time since last year. We changed the format a little bit. It's not a best of 9 anymore. It is a best of 7. We will start a best of 9 again when we head into the playoffs. But up to this point in the round-robin system here, it's always going to be a best of 7. So you only need 4 wins instead of 5 to take the team match. But every single map counts right now because of the round-robin system. It's not a bracket anymore.
Yeah, very true. Who are you going to call?
The Ghostbusters.
Nah, but it's Creator.
Alright, it's going to be Creator. A Protoss player. He runs to the booth.
Yep.
Jumps up to the stage.
This is exactly who I expected to come out. I think it's the best choice for them to make. Send a Protoss, switch up the matchup, and I think we may see some airplay out of him.
It's definitely one of those styles that most Zergs don't like. I actually feel that the Tempest style is a little bit stronger than going into Mass Void Race. You know, against Void Race is actually funny. One of the best counters that you have against this is going for a huge amount of queens.
Yes. And we've seen this already. And once the Void Ray composition that occurs is in the late game, and that's when you have a bunch of hatcheries that you can make queens from easily. So it's quite simple to max those queens out.
The funny thing is that when you see the Protoss player engaging the queens, what usually happens is they use the prismatic alignment, the Void Ray charge, even though it doesn't do anything against the queens at all.
Yeah, it's desperation.
Aphrodite on the bench here between Sound and Hack.
Yep.
Bomber looking a little bit jealous at the screen.
Yeah, Bomber's like, listen, I think the camera should be looking at me. He like uses the Force to turn the camera to point at him.
Well, the Force is certainly strong with him.
Yeah.
Not as strong as with Yoda, but still very strong.
Exactly. Texting, and that's how you know that she's not coming out to play today. You're not actually allowed as a player to have yourself on the bench.
Yeah. Not today. We'll see Bobby Prime in the booth.
Bomber is taking a rest.
He's always looking a little bit sad. He's like, Life is playing. I'm not going to be out today.
That shot that we just saw there with Curious may be some foreshadowing. It may be that if Life is not able to win, it's Curious who comes out next. We'll see.
Life is getting ready. Marine King is still talking to the left. You can see Beyond, most likely going to be the last player if Creator cannot pull off 2 wins now. Marine King and Maru talking a little bit about the games.
Yep. Golden chatting a little bit here with Curious.
He lost the first match today against Marine King. Tried to go for a lot of aggression, but Marine King was able to hold.
Yep. Still texting. Somebody take the phone away.
Twittering it up.
Yeah, she might be tweeting pictures of the dog.
Sound's glasses are just so funny.
Yeah,
one of those huge rims that Koreans just love. And here you have our 2 players in this game. We have Life. He is up against Creator this time.
Now, Creator has chosen the map Whirlwind, interestingly enough, to play against Life.
Creator won WCS Korea back in the days, and then he finished 2nd place in the WCS overall tournament, didn't he?
Yeah. He ended up losing the parting in that finals.
Creator is also very young, by the way. He's 16 years old. He turned 16 in February.
Very young player, just like Life. It's just young player after young player today, it looks like.
Yep, the youngsters. Life's still a little bit older than Creator, but only by roughly a month.
Yeah, just a little bit. And Whirlwind is such an interesting map choice for me. I wonder what Creator has planned here. It's a big map. It's a map that normally a Zerg picks, not a Protoss or a Terran. But sometimes if you want to go for a really late game oriented strategy, this is a good map. It's not too tough to expand to your 3rd on this map either.
This is one of the maps that has become a little bit more popular with the Terran players. Zerg players at first really love this map because it's so big. But lately Terran players are doing really well on this map. We're gonna find out what's gonna happen if Creator is able to, Protoss player and Terrans of course. But if Creator is able to take down a Life here at the GSTL Season 1 2013 Prime up against StarTale.